welcome back to our channel. It's another vlog from April in Skiathos, and we found ourselves back at Meltemi Brunch Cafe, which you can find on the new part of Skiathos. We decided to go back for breakfast again because we'd enjoyed it so much the previous time, and the service is really good in here. The people are just lovely. I got a ham omelette and Mark got the full English breakfast again. We made friends with this little cat who I did save a little bit of my omelette for, and then we just had a wander through town because, as you can see, it was a really sunny day. It was lovely weather again, which was perfect and such a bonus for April. Had to stop and say hello to one of my cat friends. She can be found usually in the laundrette, but sometimes in the Birdsey Hotel. Here she was having a sleep in one of the plant pots outside the hotel. Grabbed ourselves a couple of drinks, bit of strange flavours. It's always nice to try something different when you're abroad, isn't it? And then we had a wander up Papadiamanti Street, around the back streets, and then back down onto the port. As you can see from this video, it's still really quiet this time of year in Skiathos. So this was mid-April, so we were hitting pretty lucky with the weather these days. And yeah, not many people around at all. I decided to walk the full length of the new part and show you what was open and what was closed, just to give you an idea of what's about and whether you'd like it this time of year. So Ellen Grill we just passed was open there, Vesuvio open as well. The lady who was dropping the footballs all over, she was getting ready to open her shop. We did find a lot of the time we were seeing things popping open all the time this time of year. That is the Newport Ice Cream Cafe. That was just getting renovated this year, so that wasn't quite ready yet. I believe this crepes place was open. We've never actually been in there, so if you have, let us know. Is it any good? Is it worth a visit? Pasta Pazza, that was opening up as well. Another place we've never been, but we actually visited it on this trip, so keep watching if you want to see what we thought of that. This is Meltemi, the brunch cafe that we had breakfast in this morning and a few days previous as well. Highly recommend it, really nice. The Crazy Spoon, I believe that opened on an evening this time of year. I can't quite remember, we've never been in there either. On the water side there, you can see loads of the boats arriving, ready to start taking bookings for trips. The kiosks open. These were open in January, I believe. Maybe wrong. You might have to go back and watch my old videos, but I do believe they've been open all year. Fregio, great dessert place there. Beautiful ice cream. That was open up. That was open all day. This place here on the left, never been there either, but it always seems really busy. So let me know what that is and if it's worth going to. On the left here, where this building's been knocked down, that forever, as long as we can remember, was like a big shut down building, and then we turned up and it was just gone. It was a bit bizarre. It felt like we blinked and missed it and it just disappeared overnight almost. But yeah, that's a bit of a strange gap. Not sure what's going to end up in there, but I'm sure something good will be popping up soon. Lovely pink car to rent there if you fancy that. Solavante Cafe, this was open in January, open all year round by the looks of it. They do a really good club sandwich if you're fancying one of those when you're in Skiathos. And then on the left again is another Meltemi Cafe. I think this is part of the hotel though, which is just the next part here. They have apartments on the port front, and I believe that little bit is where you go and sit if you're having breakfast with them. There's lots of rental places as well dotted along the port for cars and boats and motorbikes, quads, that sort of thing. So if you're needing a vehicle, definitely head down here. This place, I'm not too sure how you say the name of it, but that's a fish taverna, and that was open all year round as well. It was open in January. Fresh Cafe, great place to go. Highly recommend the English breakfast in here. They weren't quite open yet, but I believe they did open before we ended up going home on this occasion. And then this restaurant here on the left that I've just turned away from is actually closed down now. This used to be Souvlaki Yogurt just here. It belonged to our friend Yanis, who also had the Mademi Steak Taverna, which is my favourite steak place in Skiathos. And unfortunately, that's closed down as well. So if you're watching this, Yanis, we miss you and your beautiful steaks. Supermarket's open again. And then that's pretty much the end of the Newport. So as you can see, a lot of places open, and like I said, throughout this holiday we saw more and more opening as time went on. We decided to walk back up to our hotel, which is just here on the left at the Uphill Boutique. If you're interested in staying in town, this is a great base, a great location, lovely rooms. I did a room tour on the first video from our April in Skiathos series, if you want to have a little look at that. But yeah, really clean, really modern, highly recommend these apartments. We dumped our stuff that we'd picked up in town here, and then we hopped in the car and went to the big supermarket near the airport to grab some bits. This is definitely our favourite supermarket on the island. You can get literally anything you need in here. So I thought I would show you what we got when we got back to our room. So a necessity for us every time we go to Greece are these Ruffles ketchup flavoured crisps, our absolute favourites. They're so Moorish and so addictive, so we grabbed 2 bags of those because we don't like to share, we have one each. I picked up these salted caramel biscuits, which are kind of like Oreo but with salted caramel filling. They were really nice. I was on the look for some peanut butter ones, but I couldn't find them. Mark got these like Greek version of Jaffa cakes. He said they were okay, but he does prefer a Jaffa cake. We got a bottle of milk so Mark can have his morning cup of tea because he can't survive without that. And then for me, something I can't survive without is a big bottle of Pepsi Max. And these are really cheap in the supermarkets. I think they're like 98 cents or something like that. And then I wanted to try this as well. It was a lemon and lime fizzy drink. So yeah, I thought I'd give that a go. This night there was football on that we both wanted to watch. I believe there was a Liverpool game first and then a Newcastle game. So we decided to go to our Cantico, which is just on the old port. We got some food first and then we watched the games. Matt got a gyro plate and I wasn't that hungry, probably because I'd eaten half of those packet of biscuits that we bought at the supermarket. But I just got the feta sagnaki, which is one of my favourite things to order in Skiathos. It's just delicious. If you've never had it before, it's feta cheese wrapped in phyllo pastry with honey on top. Highly recommend tasting that if you come to Greece. We sat in there for a few hours with there being 2 matches on back to back, and then Mark decided he fancied an ice cream, so we went to Fregio, which is just on the new port. He got an ice cream and I got one of the chocolate souffle desserts. I was absolutely spoilt for choice in here. I'm a big cake dessert-y type person, so I did feel spoilt for choice, but what I got was delicious. Mark got this 3 scoop ice cream. I can't remember what flavours he got, but he said it was one of the best he'd ever had. And yeah, this was my chocolate souffle, which when I cut it, it was perfect and soft in the middle, so delicious, so Moorish, and a nice treat to end the day with, really. It was really busy in Fregio as well. It was open late, and as you can see, a lot of people like to go here, which is always a good sign. This is on to the next day now, and another sunny day in Skiathos in April. We were doing really well with the weather. This is the opposite end of the new port, which I filmed yesterday, just walking away from Papadiamanti Street. I thought I'd quickly show you that all of these restaurants weren't yet open. They were all just getting ready, getting everything in there. Staff were turning up, cleaning. We saw lots going on, that sort of thing throughout this holiday. But our favourite, the island, which is the middle one here, we told them that they had to be open before we left, and they actually managed to open the day before we went home, which was amazing. For the next part of the video, I just walked straight up Papadiamanti Street, trying to show you what was open and what wasn't. So I'll just let the video play out, and rather than talk through everything, I'm going to just pop some music on so you can have a look. Skip this bit if you're not interested, fast forward if you want to, or have a good look at what's about in April on Papadiamanti. There's our friend Habas popping up on our video. Hi Habas, if you're watching, we're going to see you soon. And yeah, let's go up Papadiamanti Street and see what's about this time of year. So if you watched our January videos, you'll see that this is actually really busy in comparison. But if you visit Skiathos in the summer, you probably still think it's very quiet. But like I've already said, people were just starting to open up this time of year. Lots of things were open, but still lots of things closed and lots of things getting ready to open by sort of beginning of May time. We were glad to see that Foodie's Cafe was open on Papadiamanti Street, as we'd been told plenty of times to go here and try the English breakfast, so we decided to do that. I ordered a pineapple juice and I was really surprised to see that it actually came served in half a pineapple. The people who own this cafe are so lovely as well. Unfortunately, the breakfast wasn't the best for us, but other people really recommend it, so if it looked like something you'd enjoy, please go and try that out. After breakfast, we had a look on the airport arrival and departures list, and there was a plane due to land quite soon, so we decided to drive up. We had a drink in Maratha Cafe, which is just here, and then watched the plane come into land. As you can see, there are a lot of signs about the dangers of waiting near the airport runway. It is something I've touched on in my latest social media posts. Something really bad happened recently there. It's not a safe place to be, especially when you're watching planes take off. Landing is much safer, but always please be aware of the signs, where they tell you to stand, where they tell you not to stand. We sat and waited in our car until the plane came into view, and then we got out to watch it land. We're not plane geeks at all, but there's something fascinating about this, especially when the plane's landing over your head like this. It's quite incredible to see. So if it is something that you're going to add to your to-do list while you're in Skiathos, please stay safe while doing so. Where I'm standing here is not a safe place to stand if the planes are taking off. Please remember that. But back to a little more light-hearted content. After this, we decided to drive along the island and go to Koukanaries beach. This is a place that we don't visit in peak season. We find it too busy. But in January and April, it's lovely. It's perfect for us. Nice and quiet, not many people around, and the water here is beautiful. This was the first beach we'd seen on this trip, or this year altogether, that actually had the sunbeds out on the beach. Ones I've just filmed there are the ones that belong to a Levy hotel, so there was nobody on them because the hotel wasn't actually open yet. We spotted some jellyfish in the water that hopefully you can see there. I know you can see the shadows of them. And we had a little walk along the jetty and we could see loads of fish as well. The water on all of the beaches in Skiathos is beautiful and clear, but there's something about Koukanaries and that end of the island. It's just absolutely crystal clear blue, stunning. This hasn't got a filter on it and it really doesn't need it. It doesn't in fact do it justice, but just look how gorgeous it is. It's even better in real life. If it had been a little bit warmer, no doubt we'd have been jumping in here because it's very inviting. Instead, we had a walk right along the length of Koukanaries beach. We did dip our toes in a little and have a little bit of a paddle, but the jellyfish we saw earlier were nothing compared to what we saw further along the beach. There was absolutely loads of them, and that put me off going in a little bit, so I didn't bother dipping my toes in much at all. But it was just so enjoyable to walk along the beach. It was lovely and warm, as you can see by what we're wearing, and the sun was shining, and it was so quiet. Like, it's very rare that you get to see these beaches this quiet, so that's something amazing about going out of season. You get to appreciate it with a bit more natural beauty about it rather than as a tourist attraction. This was right at the other end of Koukanaries beach where there's a bit of a lake. You see some ducks. There was loads of fish in this water too, but I don't think you can see them as well as we could actually see them in real life. Maybe if you pause it and zoom in a little bit, you can in the bottom left there, I think. But yeah, there was loads of fish in there. And then we even saw some ducks having a little sunbathe near the sea there. That was quite cute. There was actually loads of ducks as well hiding around this part of the beach. The forest sort of behind where I'm standing now looking out to sea, the forest behind was absolutely packed with ducks. You could hear them all quacking. They were all so content. It was lovely. I think they were probably enjoying having the beach and the water all to themselves before the tourists were due to arrive. So we decided to leave them to it. I was just a little bit gutted we didn't have any bread or anything to feed them because I'm sure they would have loved that. We made our way slowly back along to the other end of the beach. And I think we passed like 3 or 4 other sets of people on there. It was so quiet and peaceful. And we did spot a little group of children who were a lot braver than we were, and they were running and jumping off the end of the jetty into the sea. Unfortunately, I just missed one of them jumping in on camera here. But yeah, that water was way too cold for me to get in, so they were very brave doing that. Next, we decided to go along to Maratha Beach, which is just the next beach along from Koukanaries. One we visited in January as well, and we wanted to have a look and see how much had changed in the 3 months since we were there last. We were intrigued to see if the beach had been cleaned up and if they'd put any sunbeds out, that kind of thing. But when we got there, it basically looked the same as it looked in January, just a little bit warmer and the sea a little bit bluer. Nothing had really been done here to get it ready for the tourists as yet. The beach bar was still all closed and bare looking. There was still a lot of wood and driftwood and rocks and whatnot on the beach, but it still looked lovely. And we walked all the way along. Mark was being brave again there, getting his toes wet. I was really excited to see that the group of geese who live in the forest here and around this beach were all at the end of the beach there, so we walked along to see those. In a second you'll see why I was still dodging the sea, and that was because there was loads of jellyfish, so I don't think the camera's actually picking them up properly, but you can see all the shadows of them there at the bottom. There was no chance I was putting my feet in that water because I really don't fancy getting stung by a jellyfish. I just made my way along the sand, laughed at Mark screaming about how chilly the water was and dodging the jellyfish, and heading over to the geese to see them. We came to this beach in summer last year. I think it was in the July that we came to this beach, and these geese are actually quite tame and they'll let you feed them and they'll come and eat out of your hand and that sort of thing. But this time of year, I don't think they were expecting any people to be about, so I did keep my distance. But it was lovely watching them all sunbathing, and then they actually got in the sea and had a little swim for the camera. Some people might not be interested or impressed by this at all, but it's not something you see every day, is it? A flock of geese swimming in the sea. I think it's a lovely thing to see. I love all animals, and we'll definitely be going back to this beach. We visit at the end of August, and I'll definitely be taking a loaf of bread with me in my beach bag so that I can feed them, and I'll make sure to get that on camera, so that'll be in a future vlog hopefully. Me hand feeding these geese or getting attacked by them. Wait and see. I could have stayed and watched these geese for a lot longer than we did, but Mark decided that he wanted to go and try and be brave and have a swim somewhere where there was no jellyfish. We walked back along the beach, we got back in our car, and we drove halfway back along the south of the island to Kanapitsa beach, which you can find at bus stop 12. This is one of Mark's very favourite beaches. I don't mind it either, but he really loves it. He loves it for snorkelling, swimming, and we've never seen jellyfish there, so we decided to head to that one in the hope that he'd be able to get into the sea. I kind of think he was a little bit too scared to get into this sea because of the geese and not the jellyfish, but he insisted it was the jellyfish he was avoiding, so off we headed to Kanapitsa. And when we got there, he was very pleased to see no jellyfish. The sea was nice and calm because it's in a lovely little cove, and it was nice and clear for him to have a swim. So this is Kanapitsa beach if you've never been before. There is a jetty there. It was broken, but peak summertime it will be fixed and working for the water taxi, so it's really easy to get to if you're staying in town, or if you're on the bus, just hop off at bus stop 12. Mark got in the sea, there's proof, knee deep as well, very brave. In like holiday season, this beach has a beautiful taverna on it as well. You can have a nice meal or a drink, and it's a lovely beach with just one row of sunbeds. And you can hire boats from this beach as well. It often is quite quiet as well, and then like I said, it's in a little cove, so it can be sheltered on windy days too. Mark assured me that there was no jellyfish in the sea here, so I even got in the water, not quite as deep as he did, but I had a good paddle, and it was actually quite nice. It wasn't as cold as I expected it to be. I did get a lot deeper in the sea in Banana Beach in one of our previous videos, but this day I wasn't feeling quite so brave, and I was happy with just a paddle. This is the jetty which you use to get on and off the water taxi in the summer. Rest assured, it has been fixed, so the water taxi is up and running this season if you want to use that to get to this beach or back into town from here. It's a very handy service. And this is the Kanapitsa Taverna. It's lovely to sit out on one of these outside tables overlooking the sea and enjoying a meal. We did this, we stayed right near here for our honeymoon a couple of years ago and had a meal there, and it was gorgeous. On this occasion for us, it was closed. I don't think this taverna opened till mid-May. It is open now, and it'll probably be open till the end of the season, like mid-October time. So we're getting ready to open, and if you watched our January vlogs, you'll have seen that we came here and that there'd been some damage to the fencing just at the top here where I'm walking now. But that was already all fixed, and you could definitely see signs that this place was going to be opening very soon. I was just sad to miss it on this occasion. But as Mark had ticked paddling off his to-do list that day, we went back home, got changed and showered, and then went out for some food. Went to Bun Bros for food, and that's on the Newport, just opposite the ferry terminal. We got the mozzarella sticks, some coleslaw, and some buffalo chicken wings for starters, and 2 different burgers with fries for our mains. Before anyone says anything, we know this isn't Greek, but it was delicious. Really, really good burgers. The buffalo wings were incredible, and Mark loved his cheesy starter as well. It was all made to order, really fresh and lovely service as well. So if you fancy something like that while you're in Skiathos, we definitely recommend Bumbros. It was a lovely evening, so after a big meal, just to finish off our day, we decided to have a walk around the Birdsea and down at the water's edge. This is one of my favourite places on the island, especially at night when it's a bit quieter like this. It's so pretty. The water still looks amazing. It looks really inviting, but I've never been brave enough to jump in here because I'm not the best swimmer. But in the summer, Mark jumped in off these rocks and he loved it. For me, it's just more one of the relaxing places on the island. It's so peaceful, it's so picturesque. I could sit here for ages. A lot of people do know about this place and a lot of people swim from here, but I still feel like it's a little bit of a hidden gem on the island that some people do miss. If you're visiting the island and it's a place you want to visit, you just walk through the Birdsea restaurant on the peninsula and then drop down the steps on the other side and you're brought out here. First thing on a morning or on an evening when the sun's setting, it honestly feels like you're one of the only people on the island. It's so peaceful and beautiful, and the water always manages to look this blue and clear. I don't know how it does it, but it was even like this in January. It's just amazing. Another man came down while we were there and he was brave enough to jump in and have a swim. I was very jealous, but there's no way I'm ever going to do that, so I let him enjoy himself, and we made our way back around to the port, which was quite busy considering this was mid-April. Everyone seemed to have come out because it was such a lovely evening, but it was nice to see, and we just made our way back to our hotel to chill out and have a rest before an early morning tomorrow. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed these 2 days in Skiathos in April with us. If you want to see more, please subscribe if you haven't already, and you can find us on all of the other socials. We've got TikTok, Facebook and Instagram now, all Skiathos Addicts. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed and followed us across all the platforms so far, and we'll see you in another video really soon. Thank you for watching.